Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know that it has been a minute ever since you've seen this hair, right? If you are new here, hello! My name is Learn the Conjurer, and I am your host of all things spooky, creepy, weird, and fun. And today, well, it seems that all of you really liked my last vlog, so I think I am gonna keep doing it. And while this video wasn't necessarily a prepared vlog, I still wanted to share with you some really fun things that I saw while visiting the very interesting and very different from where I live state, Seattle, Washington. I had a fabulous time. I stayed for a few days, went in the middle of a heat wave, which was pretty interesting. And while I didn't get to do anything particularly spooky, there were a few things that I found along the way that I really wanted to share with you all. So I hope you enjoy this footage, and I figured while you're watching, I'll regale you with some relatively creepy and slightly macabre tales about Seattle, Washington. Don't worry, I will definitely be going back, and when I do, I will cover a heck of a lot more. But if you know anything about the Pacific Northwest that maybe you would like me to cover, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. One thing I found pretty interesting was that everything around Seattle, Washington referenced Bigfoot, but I'm sure Bigfoot's not living in the city. I don't know, what do you all think of that? Please enjoy my tiny little tale of Seattle, Washington.
From salmon tossing to being the birthplace of grunge, Seattle has many well-known claims to fame. But this area is home to some of America's top corporations like Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks, and just to name a few. But it's known for its cloudy weather. Even though when I went, we were in the middle of a heat wave, Seattle does have a stranger side to it. Here's a few odd items from the history of this booming northwestern metropolis that I found while I visited. It has had its fair share of serial killers. Seattle seems like a peaceful place on the surface, but the town has had its unusual number of serial killers. The infamous Ted Bundy attended the University of Washington and served as the assistant director of Seattle's Crime Prevention Advisory Commission. Gary Ridgway, aka the Green River Killer, confessed to killing more than 70 women in the Seattle area. Marian Zonchek, which I think is how you pronounce it, who served in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1933 until his death in 1936, may have been one of the craziest politicians in U.S. history. That's a pretty loaded statement. A son of Polish immigrants, he began his political career as a fighter for the poor and homeless. While Mr. Z's heart was in the right place, his head seemed to be going into a different direction. He also sent President Roosevelt a gift basket of empty beer bottles and mothballs. J. Edgar Hoover, meanwhile, received a truckload of manure. With his sanity in question, Mr. Z was sent to a sanatorium for a short time. In 1936, he threw himself out the window of his fifth-floor office in downtown Seattle's Arctic Building. He hit the sidewalk on 3rd Avenue, just outside the car where his wife was waiting. I'm sure you wouldn't imagine to find something as strange as, say, an oddities shop on the pier in Seattle. And inside this oddities shop, well, it definitely doesn't leave any disappointment in the name. Yes, before the Space Needle, before Woodland Park Zoo, before even the Seattle Aquarium, even the automobile replaced the horse and buggy, there was Ye Olde Curiosity Shop. When Joseph Edward Stanley set up his curio and souvenir shop on the waterfront in 1899, Seattle was a rough and tumble town. The city was still reeling from the Great Fire only 10 years before, and the newly replaced wooden docks rang with the footsteps of timber laborers, mine workers, and wannabe gold prospectors headed to the Alaskan Yukon. These footsteps usually took people down to Ye Olde Curiosity Shop, and in greater and greater numbers throughout the years. The lumberjacks changed to office workers and the world travelers, but they all wanted to know, where else could a body see a walrus skull with 3 tusks by a miniature totem pole and touch the vertebrae of the world's largest whale. Locals and international visitors alike found 1001 curious things, quote unquote, in Daddy Stanley's free museum, as they will today. Over the course of 5 generations, this collection has done nothing but get more and more interesting. The ongoing stewardship of Stanley's family has brought shrunken heads, mummies, natural oddities, taxidermy, treasures, and man-made wonders from all around the world. Ye Olde Curiosity Shop plays host to more and more than millions of visitors in each of the years and days past, and many are on return trips, eager to share their experience with their great-grandchildren. But you expect to see a mummy in a museum, right? But with Seattle having this very unique gift shop and well displayed along the tourist pier, you see, many visitors think that these figures are fake, but researchers from Bioanthropology, I think is how you pronounce it. Let me try that again. Bioanthropology. Oh boy, come at me in the comments for that one. Research Institute from the Quinnipiac University in New Haven, Connecticut, conducted a CT and MRI scan in 2001. And in 2005, they confirmed that these are in fact real deal mummies. Their names are Sylvia and Sylvester. In fact, they declared Sylvester to be one of the best preserved mummies that they have ever seen. According to legend, 2 cowboys found Sylvester's dried out body in Arizona's Gila Bend Desert in 1895. Some say that he was murdered in a saloon shootout, and what appears to be gunshot wounds to his stomach appear very frequently throughout the CT scan. Sylvia is more deteriorated, but evidence show that she is a European female who died at about the age of 30 from tuberculosis and lost her teeth while still alive. Ye Olde Curiosity Shop is unappreciated as a Seattle treasure, and I do agree. And in seeing all of these Seattle treasures, I have learned that if you want to get around downtown, just remember this phrase. Locals know this handy mnemonic device, the phrase, "Jesus Christ made Seattle under protest," as a way to remember the street names downtown. Starting from the south and heading north, the street names are Jefferson and then James, Jesus, Cherry and Columbia, Christ, Marion and Madison, Made, Springs and Seneca, Seattle, University and Union, Under, and finally, Pike and Pine, Protest. Note, however, that some townsfolk use the word pressure instead of protest. Finally, I leave you with the one piece of footage that technically I should have deleted, because, oh, look at how I just did not hold my phone right. But this is me flying home over Mount Rainier, the first mountain I have ever seen in my entire life. Breathtaking, as was all of the things that Seattle brought me, and I cannot wait to go back.
Well, everyone, that's it. What did you think? I gotta tell you, that oddities shop was my favorite thing that I found on that pier. I really can't wait to go back and tell you more about all these other things that I've learned about and all these places I really wanted to visit but just didn't have the time. So let me know what you thought. And if you've ever been before, tell me what maybe I missed so that I can go back and give it a try myself. And if you like this video, feel free to like as well as consider subscribing to my channel for more spooky, fun, potentially traveling content. And before I leave you, remember the rules of conjuring. Never play alone, never play in a graveyard, and always say goodbye. Goodbye, ghosties and ghoulies. Happy travels! Y'all, that's not a cloud. That's a freaking mountain.